episode 1, like, what were we thinking having that guy on?
I don't know.
Hello, and welcome to Local Listens. Available weekly on Spotify, Pocket Casts, Anchor, and our YouTube channel. We welcome you to our 20th episode and the end of Season 1. We're going to sit back and recap some of our favorite moments, and even some that were edited out of episodes. Join us as we talk about the future and come up with the plan for Season 2. As always, bands are mentioned throughout the episode, and you can find those links in the episode description.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Local Listens. I am Bailey of Bailey Ukulele.
And I'm Shane from Sanatorium Hill.
20 episodes, Shane.
20
Yeah,
episodes.
pretty cool. Let's introduce our guest. All right, we don't have a guest.
We don't have a guest today.
Because it's the season finale. Pew, pew, pew. I wish we could have confetti go off right now, but no one would be able to see it. Just imagine the metaphorical confetti.
Yeah.
There you go.
But this is the end of Season 1 of Local Listens.
Yeah. You know what's funny is, when we started this, I didn't think we were going to have seasons. I just thought we were going to, like, keep going. Until, like, we eventually got tired, and then we were going to be like, all right, I guess we'll take a break. And then, when you mentioned to me, let's take a break, that's when I was like, I guess this is the end of Season 1 then. I guess we are going to do seasons.
Yeah, and it's just you and me doing this. If we had, like, a crew, then it would be totally different. But we're able to take a little break, get some interviews done, stock up on the next 20 episodes, and knock it out.
Season 2. And then also, like, give our brains a break, and, you know, maybe in that break, maybe we'll play a show or something if COVID lets us, and, you know, you can come see us actually live.
And hopefully, coming up, we can actually have some in-person interviews here. So, not everything's recorded online.
I was just thinking about that. That would be really nice. Like the original first two were with you and I.
Yeah.
Where, like, the band gets to actually perform on the episode live. I'm excited to do that again. That'll be fun.
Yeah, because that was the goal from the beginning.
I'm looking at all the people that we have already recorded, and a lot of them I want to have back on for an in-person interview, just like a checkup.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice.
Only because a few of them I also just want to sit in the same room with, like Jesse, like fucking Michael, you know, Brandon. Like, I want to have them, like, when we had them on, it was kind of like, wow.
Yeah,
like,
we got Jesse on the 4th episode.
That was what we used to joke around with, is that we made it before we had made it on episode 4.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I gotta say, Jesse, like, literally, he's the sweetest guy. Like, he's written 2 birthday songs for 2 of my best friends. He did our podcast. Every time he comes to Tacoma, now that I've gotten to know him, like, I'll message him and be like, hey, where's the local show at tonight? You know, I know you're playing this big show at Numos, but where's the local show? And he's like, yeah, I got this show at the Hyde, perform in a basement. Like, he's just a cool guy. When you get to know him, just like, if you need to know where the shows are at, or if you need something, like, I'm telling you, ask him. It never hurts to ask.
Yeah.
Know? And if you want to play video games.
Yeah, he's a big Dark Souls fan. So, yeah.
But okay, well, I realized we never really talked about, like, how this all came together. People don't really know the story. They just know that we come on here and talk to people. I mean, I guess it all starts really, even before this podcast, with Basement Tracks, which, how long ago was that? Like 5 or 6 years ago, I had this idea of doing an open mic podcast, originally, where I was going to go to open mics and interview musicians at the open mic. We were going to go outside, I was going to have a microphone, and my idea was like, you just played 3 songs. Can I interview you about, like, how you got started and when you're playing next? Because I feel like in open mics a lot of times, it's not the people that are already playing shows, it's the people that are just starting out and they don't have a show yet, and they're like, here's my in. Maybe someone will see me and go, I want you to play this show that I'm putting together. Or, hey, I have this, like, wedding, I want you to play it. Or, hey, I have this party, I want you to play it, you know? It was kind of like a networking thing. And so I sort of was just like, Basement Tracks. It's this idea that it's all these, like, people that no one knows. Kind of like what Local Listens is. That here we're going to showcase them, and you now get a chance to hear all these musicians. We're going to put them on blast and show you who they are so you know who they are. And then that kind of morphed into a thing where I was going to still try to do the podcast, but then also record behind the scenes of the shows and, like, some of the bands performing and stuff. And then I did one little thing with the Bitter Ex Lovers where I recorded them in their studio. And then 2020 hit, and I was like, shows are done. there's no way I can ingest music into me unless I watch it on a screen. Okay, here's the band playing their set, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's not like it doesn't feel like I'm at the show. It just feels like I'm watching a documentary on these bands. Or I like the Punx and the Wood streams for that reason, because you can go in and like feel like literally there's parts where it's filmed live and Joy is actually talking to you, like actually at that venue, and it feels real.
Yeah.
I kind of was like, I need another way to ingest music into my life. And so I was like, I'm going to give this podcast thing a try. I need to have a co-host that'll like motivate me to actually do something with this podcast. And then I was like, who do I know? Hey Shane, you want to do a podcast? Like, seriously, like, oh yeah, we'll do it later. Like, you know, like, it'll just get me put off. And I know when I asked you to do it, I asked you because I know that you're one of my closest friends. You're very reliable, and I knew that we would be able to actually do something with this, because you and I are both very close in the music scene, not just in music, but we also are stagehands. We also are audio like we do other things in music, not just playing music. You also have a house venue, so we're more in a broader musical community that I thought this would be really easy to be able to put everything together and make it what it is now, I guess.
Oh yeah. It's been so fun being 20 episodes in, and like some of the people we've reached out to and we're like, hey, do you want to be on it? But we've also had people message us and be like, hey, I heard you're doing this thing.
And we'll get to that, but there's some people on here that we honestly have never met before, except for on this podcast.
Yeah, I really like that, because one of the things that I really like to do is kind of like collect music. And people still do collect the vinyls and everything, collect CDs.
Right.
I still have my CD collection. I still have vinyls I collect. But a digital collection of over like 5,000 songs, and it's growing, is so cool to me. And to know I can just like flip on any one of them at any time.
That is really cool.
In every one of these episodes, when I'm sitting down and I'm editing, I make the list of every band that we mention. Like, it could be in passing of just being like, oh yeah, and then there was this one band that played, but that was nothing. Or we listened to Iron Maiden on the way to a show, and like I'll write that down.
I find that hilarious when you do that. I'll look at some of the descriptions, and it'll be like Sanatorium Hill, and you know, Daze and Daze, and you know, Bridge City Center, Metallica, Green Day, like, and he puts in like the really famous bands, as if we don't know like where to find them. Like, I don't know. For me, that feels more like an inside joke between us, because I don't know. I just think that's hilarious that he puts that in. It makes me laugh, because like, here's a band that we mentioned, Metallica. If you don't know who they are, they're this like rock band, I guess, that play metal music. I don't know.
My thought behind it was, say our episode with Ralph. Say if somebody's listening to that knows Ralph, and they're like, oh, what other music does he listen to? And he mentions like the Violent Femmes or something like that. They can be like, oh, who is this?
Right, that's smart, because then if they don't know who that is, or even if they do, then they know more about it. Kind of actually gives you more insight about that person too, like who they are and what music they're into.
But now I have this list of bands and stuff. I've totally gone through and tried to listen to all of them and like pick and choose ones and be like, oh, I gotta download more of this.
Remember when we talked for like 7 hours about John Underwood in episode 2?
Yeah, and I had to edit it down to a 30-minute clip. That's another thing with this, though, because like when we talk to these people, we tell them right away, like, hey, we edit it down to like a 30-minute to 45-minute interview. We're going to try to leave it at that. And then there's episodes like the one we did with Docksey where we talked for an hour and a half. And
that was insane.
I had to try to edit that all down to a cohesive thing. And I think it turned out pretty well. There's a lot in these episodes that you don't get to hear, so it would be nice to have the in-person interviews, maybe do some live interviews coming up and things like that.
For those of you that are listening, I've had this idea that I ran by Shane that when COVID is over, that we might revisit and try to do, about doing live shows at bars where we would go in and we would have the band perform, or we would interview the band and then have the band perform. where we could be on stage interviewing the band, so you could all come in and see Local Listens live and see how it all goes down, how we interview the band, like what it looks like, how it all is done, and then you get to see a free show afterwards with a couple bands. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
If we could try to, like at the Valley or even at the bomb shelter or anywhere really.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to keep this as an ever-growing thing.
For sure. When COVID's over, this ain't going away. We're going harder when COVID's over. We're gonna tour around the world and interview full fun fans in China.
Like, it would be cool to bring Local Listens on the road.
I'm telling you, Local Listens on the road would be sweet. Actually go like all over the U.S. and like go talk to people and travel and be like, hey, we're looking for the musicians in this area. We're in New York. Who wants to, who's around that wants to do an interview? Like, that'd be kind of fun.
That would be cool. So out of the episodes we have done so far, which episode would you say was your favorite to do?
That's like picking a favorite child. Ooh. Now, I'm going to say 2 because it's a tie. The first one is going to be Docksey. 1, it was our 10th episode, and that was a special moment. That was awesome. And Docksey's a really close friend of ours, and like that episode felt so organic and it came together so well that is why we recorded an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like my other favorite though was episode 12, where we interviewed my best friend in the entire world, Mr. Al. That one was probably more of an emotional one for me, just because like I've waited so long to have Al on. Shane can even attack, like literally when we started this thing, my top 3, I said Jamie, or actually top 4, I said Jamie, I said Ralph, I said Al, and I said Gray, and we had all 4 on. That was the first 4 I mentioned. I don't care when they go on, but we need to have those 4. It's so funny interviewing Al because he'll just go off. Like at one point we're like, so what's your favorite band? And he'll go, well, I really like this band and this band and this band. And I really like this band. Oh, and this one time when I was with that band, though, we were at a Goodwill, and then he'll go off on a whole story about this Goodwill story, which will then turn into a story about an animal he saw in the woods, which will then turn into a story about something his mom said and about a snack he ate, and then it'll go back to music.
Yeah.
What's yours, Shane?
My favorite one is probably JC's.
That was a good one.
That one was really cool. For people that didn't know, we did mention it in the episode, but we had to record that one twice. And the first time that we tried to record it, like an hour before the episode started, my hot water heater blew, and I was in the middle of fixing that, and like...
You were having things going on, and there was too much.
That whole day was horrible, and I was like, we can still do the episode. I'll set it all up to record. It'll be fine. Just give me a call when the episode's done and I can hit stop. And I come in here and it didn't record.
All we got recorded, I'm not shitting you, was, hi, my name is Bailey. Welcome to Local Listens.
And it was just like, oh no. So of course we reached out to JC and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's been one hell of a day. Like things like this happen. I hate that they do. And then JC was like, cool, yeah, when are we doing it again? Let's redo this. And like Brandon of Punk with the Camera, his episode, he is such a busy person that like trying to schedule that was a little difficult. And if that was the episode that didn't get recorded, we wouldn't have that episode at all. Like we can't just be like, oh, can we redo this?
He does so many things that, like, as far as I know, he had stuff he was doing that day and took an hour out of his day just to come record an episode. Brandon fucking Walsh, Punk with a Camera, guys, took time out of his day to do some shitty podcast that Shane and I knew. That,
and it was actually like a great conversation. Even that one, I had to edit that one down. That one went on for like almost an hour. We got into some deep conversations about things, and then we started talking about just personal experiences with both of us. And we're like, we probably shouldn't put these parts into the episode. But to make it for time, we'll keep talking, and it was great. We meet some great people through this, and it's been so fun to do. Like, the Crack House Critters episode was so wild. Because it was just like, oh yeah, this guy reached out to us, look this guy up, this guy's got some stuff he's working on. Like that whole episode, we were just like, wow, he's got this going, he's really trying here.
Oh, he's hustling. That guy is hustling.
He's got so many songs like backlogged. He's got so many things he's working on.
Yeah,
And
dude, this guy, I swear, has like a whole like vault somewhere. Of just,
yeah,
and then he had the most views out of everybody.
he's got a
What?
network, I swear. But
Like,
really, like, go check out the Crack House Critters and
for real, yeah.
go check out the Jacob Gutherless episode because we talk about all the
Yeah.
stuff he's working on.
And then after you listen to his episode, go sit in the corner and cry about how you're not that good and that you're not doing enough. After his episode, I was like, oh my god, I'm not doing anything. I suck. And here's Jacob like, I have 15 albums ready to go.
Comes out of nowhere. He hits us up just like months after he made his Facebook page. And I was just like, yeah, cool. Let's have you on. Let's talk to this guy. And it's just like, yeah, most views out of anybody else we've had on the show. Same with that Jeremiah. He reached out to us, and that dude's super talented.
Yeah, that's the banjo guy.
Yeah.
He's like,
he whipped out the banjo in the middle of the episode and was just like, yeah, this is something I'm working on. I'm like, it was just like, cool. What? Yeah, this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was awesome. Next question I have, what was the episode that most surprised you? The one where you went, wow, like that really happened.
Huh. It had to be the Mark Passion episode with Mark of Roberts Roost.
Yep.
Where we were like, yeah, we're going to bring you on. We're going to talk about music. He's doing his drone thing, so we're going to talk about drones. And then it just turned into like, hey, this is the history of black holes. This is how they can tell like things happening through a laser. This is like metaphorical physics. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I went back and listened to that probably 5 or 6 times just because it was so interesting to me. Like, remember that show you played at the bomb shelter where like Shane and Shannon were dancing? So like let's talk about black holes now.
Yeah.
And how they correspond with this. I don't know. It blew me away that like we were able to have somebody like that on that not only that was so articulate with what he was saying that like even the science part tied into the music that he was or the drones or he tied it all together somehow, and I don't know. It was shocking to me that we were able to have that.
So
but, yeah, that was a really fun one. For me though, I think my most shocking one was Michael because everybody on here except for Rashad, Jeremiah, and Jacob and Brandon, I have met before. I've met all those people at least once, and so Michael was one of those people where like I had met him at Punx in the Woods, but I hadn't met him before, like. I went up to him and I was like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? High five. Bam. Let's cheers a beer. Cheers. And he sends me a friend request and then goes, check out my page, King String. And I'm like, okay. I'm going to look it up. And then, like 2 days later, and I'm like, who are these Bridge City Sinners people? Why are they getting so many views on their videos? Why are they, like, really famous? And I go to click on a video and I'm like, where do I know him from? Whoa. Whoa, guys. Hold on. Yeah, that guy was at the thing, and we did the high five, and he's the famous, and wow, and so that was cool. Cause like,
and
on
he's
the episode
the famous.
You can catch it, but on the episode you can catch it where he says, "I've actually seen you perform before," and for like 3 seconds you hear dead silence because I'm in such shock that he's heard me perform. Because now that I'm like in the folk funk scene, I now know all these bands. I'm like, wait, you've heard of me? Oh my gosh. When? What? This is crazy. So I think that was my most shocking one. And he also shotgun SpaghettiOs, which still...
That part of the episode was so fucking funny.
That's the hardest I've laughed in any episode. That was the hardest I laughed.
Because like, I totally forgot about it, and I'm sitting back, and I'm editing it, and it's just like, yeah, so when we were down in New Mexico, and we were shotgun SpaghettiOs, I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like... instantaneous because one of the things that I have to pay attention to when I'm editing this is the latency of recording it over the internet. Sometimes we're like, hey, how's your day? And then there's like a silence for a couple seconds and the guy's like, oh, I'm good. And I edit that all out.
Yeah,
but
for those of you who also don't know all the behind the scenes shit that goes on that Shane actually does, I'm going to insert some metaphorical clapping and fanfare because he edits so much out that you don't get to hear that it's like, oh, sorry, I was coughing, or oh, this, or oh, hey, I had, like, there's all these things, all these weird things that you don't actually get to hear.
Like the Sirens Rain episode, the call dropped in the middle of it, and we had to, like, restart it and take it from like where we left off, and got to edit all that out.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, that whole like shotgunning SpaghettiOs thing, like that was the one time in the recording that there's zero latency at all, and it's just, yeah, we were shotgunning SpaghettiOs, and like the moment he said SpaghettiOs, Bailey just starts fucking laughing.
Oh, I
And
got
it was
and I'll tell you
so
why,
funny.
because as a child, that was my snack. As a child, I will tell you, all I ate, SpaghettiOs, mac and cheese, grilled cheese, tomato soup, and that was it. That was my diet.
It's like
I was like,
it's like you have the
baby to,
list
like,
tattooed on you or something. You're like, yeah, let me just roll up my sleeve.
Seriously.
This is what I used to eat. This was the menu.
Right, for real though, like that was all I ate. So when he said SpaghettiOs, I was like, that's genius. Why have I never thought of that? That's what made me laugh, and I was like, that's such a stupid thing. Like, it was so genius and so stupid and so funny. And
People gotta check out the Michael Center episode if they haven't
please.
yet, because he tells some great stories, like going up and thinking he's going to do karaoke with a live band, only to find out afterwards that it was just a band trying to play their set. So funny.
I'm going to do that during your next set, Shane, that you play. I'm just going to go up there and start singing one of your songs with you and just be like, I'm sorry, I thought this was karaoke. My bad.
That would be great. I fully encourage that.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, here's a game we're going to play. Shane, what is our longest episode? If you had to take a guess.
Our
Which one do you think is the
longest
longest
episode.
Yep.
God damn. Like, the longest recorded one was definitely Docksey, but that got edited down.
Right, the longest edited one.
I don't know. I would guess probably the Brandon one, because we talked for almost an hour. It's either the Brandon one or it's the Jesse one.
The longest episode is Sanatorium Hill.
Why?
And I'm number 2.
See, that's when we were first starting out, though, and we were like, we don't know how long we're going to do this yet, so I guess that makes sense.
So if we're not counting ourselves, the longest episode, as far as I can see, would be... It's Ralph.
Wow.
Ralph, that was an episode where we talked a lot about, like, the local scene, like, really talked about it. It was really like, I'm going to explain to you this festival that only, like, a handful of people in Alaska know about. And I'm going to really explain to you the local scene in Alaska and how it really goes down.
Yeah.
What is our shortest one? Let's see. What do you think it is, Shane? What do you think our shortest one is?
I'm thinking maybe Frank's episode, because when we talked to Frank, he was in the middle of doing stuff as well. Some of these guys, when we record them, it goes to like 45 minutes and I edit it down, or it goes to like at least longer than half an hour. Frank's, I'm pretty sure we ended that recording at like just a little over a half an hour. So edited down, I'm thinking that's going to probably be the shortest one.
That is not our shortest episode.
Oh, wow.
Surprisingly. Our shortest one was our most popular episode, Jacob.
Wow. He lives in Colorado, and like he didn't have the best internet signal, so I did have to cut out a lot of static and weird like noises and stuff that were happening. So I guess that makes sense. Go check out that episode. It is our most listened to, but it's also just a great episode. Like, that was super fun.
Everybody was great. I mean,
So
what is next? I don't know. What is next?
Yeah. Yo, what is next? We're gonna be taking a little break.
We are.
We not for too long. Near the end of this season, we've had some people back out of interviews on the last minute, and things got messed up scheduling wise on a couple of them. So we tried to have a backlog, and then these last couple episodes we put out, it was just like record them, edit them, put them out, because we didn't have any kind of layover. So the goal is to take like a week or two just for ourselves, and then start reaching out and contacting people, getting episodes recorded and edited and prepped to upload.
Have season 2.
And so basically all of July we will be working on getting interviews all back together. And August 1st, the first Sunday of August, we'll hit you with season 2. And hopefully,
man, I'm excited.
I'm super excited. And if you have any suggestions for who you want us to have on here, let us know. We'll reach out to them. I'm hoping to mix up the genres.
I want to have some reggae artists. I want to have a violinist on. I want to have everybody.
Yeah, like everything from street musicians to like people that are just trying for the poppiest stuff. Like I want to talk to anyone and everyone.
I also want to talk to people in the music field, not just musicians. Like, I'd love to get a chance to talk to audio engineers and, like, talk to people that, like, run a venue. Like, talking to the guy at the Plaid Pig. Like, I'd love to interview him and be like, dude, how did you start in this venue? Like, tell us the crazy stories, and you know?
Yeah, that would be great. And, like, just supporters.
People like that. Like, people that are in the scene but don't play the music, because people that work, like, at the local music shops.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to sponsor a Local Listens episode and, like, you know, you want to, like, do some stuff with us, shoot us a message. We could say this episode is sponsored by Taco Bell. Something like that, you know? Like, it'd be fun to have, like, our local businesses and stuff that we can support. But yeah.
I don't know. How do you want to end this?
Well, I would like to end it by saying, drumroll please, that we have a new thing coming out soon. Starting July 1st, I think, is when I'm going to start. I want to start doing a thing where it's going to be a new show, I guess. I think it's going to be YouTube exclusive, so if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go subscribe. But it's basically going to be a show that I'm going to do called Local Happenings. So on Sunday, I'll be posting it, so it'll probably go up around the same time as our episode of Local Listens. And it'll be like, hi, I'm Bailey from Bailey Ukulele, and this is Local Happenings. Here's what's going on this week. On Monday, this show is going on at this place, and these are the bands. So that way, if you're wondering what shows are going on for that weekend or for that day, I'm going to let you know. I'll give highlights, set when your band is playing and where, and what other bands are playing with it. I think that'll be really fun. It'll be kind of like a calendar. Who knows, maybe you'll find a new band you like, or maybe there's a band that you're like, man, I wish I could go see them, but they haven't played in so long. Thank you guys for 20 episodes. This has been crazy.
It's been fun. And every episode has had some weird thing happen.
I know, every single one. I want to say thank you to Sanatorium Hill, Bailey Ukulele, Ralph Allen, Jesse from Daze, Wyatt Bender, Sirens Rain, Rashad Holt, Jeremiah, Jacob, Docksey, Kevin White, Al, Rocco, Gray, Mark, Michael, JC, Brandon, Mikey Muffins, and Frank. I want to say thank you to all of you. I want to say thank you to all the people that we haven't had on yet and that are set to be have on. And I want to say thank you to all the people who don't know they're going to be on an episode and are about to be contacted here in the next few weeks about an episode. You know, you don't know who you are, but you're about to know. So yeah, that's it. As Shane always says at the end of the podcast, have a great and music-fueled week.
Thank you so much for tuning into this season of Local Listens. Season 2 is set to start August 1st, and we are so excited to work on everything coming up. And just like Bailey already said, we hope you tune in next time and have a great and music-filled week.